Hi everybody, so today's video is going to be me speed reviewing all the products that I've been trying for the last couple of months. Since I don't feel like having an hour-long video to edit, we're going to be splitting this up into 3 parts. First part is going to be primers, foundations, concealers, and powders. The second part is going to be cheek products, so bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. And the last part is going to be lips, brows, and eyeshadow. So let's get right into this one. So we're starting off with primers, and I have 3 primers in front of me. 2 of them are more on the poreless, smoothing kind of a thing, and the other one is the Health Gripping Primer. I might be one of the only people that are not that into this sort of product. I have 2 main problems with this. The first one, and it doesn't happen with every foundation, but it does happen with a few of them. I apply the primer, and once I apply foundation on top and I'm trying to blend the foundation, I feel like it doesn't want to blend as well as it usually does. It is gripping in that way, but it's gripping in a way that I don't feel like it's helping my makeup. This does help a little bit with the longevity of my makeup, so it does stick down, but the fact that it takes me more work to apply my foundation in the first place makes it not be worth it for me. The other thing that I also notice is this smile line gets really noticeable when I apply this primer. And it's not a thing that I appreciate, obviously. I don't want a lot of product collecting here other than the normal amount that you are to expect, because we do have lines. Product collects, it's fine, I just pat it down, but every single time that I was testing this thing out, I did notice more product collecting in this line. So I'm just not that into primers. I feel like a good skincare routine and hydration does the job for me, so I don't feel the need to add this into my routine, and therefore I do not particularly recommend it. Sticking with health, I have the poreless primer. This is the liquid version. I just rather have the one that's in the squeezy tube than the one is in the pan because it's just more hygienic, but supposedly the formula is the same, so I ended up wanting to try this one. And this one I actually kind of like. I feel like it helps a little bit with the texture on my face around here. It's pretty lightweight. I don't feel like it gets heavier because of this. I don't feel like it moves around. I feel like it does its job without disturbing anything, which is what I'm expecting from a primer. So if you're looking for a smoothing, blurring primer, I actually really like this one. And the last primer is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Smoothing Primer. And this one I like a little bit less. First of all, because I feel like it's a little bit heavier than the Health Primer. And I ended up testing it side by side with the Elf many times, because they are similar products within a similar price range. So I just wanted to see which one I would end up liking more. And even though I feel like this one might be a little bit more blurring, I also feel like it's a little bit heavier. Not only is it heavier when you apply, like I feel it like more on my skin, I feel like the foundation, concealer, and powder look differently on top of this one versus the Elf one. Also, I don't know if I'm allergic to it or if it's supposed to do this, but I feel like a cold, tingly sensation when I use this, so also don't really appreciate it. So rather go for the Elf one than this one. I don't think it's a bad product. I think it is blurring. I just feel like it's blurring in a less perfecting and more heavy kind of a way. I also have 3 foundations, and we're starting off with the most expensive one. That happens to be the one that I like the least. So the first one is the Tier foundation, and all of the 3 that I have, this is the one that I like the least for 3 main reasons. First of all, I feel like it gets cakey as the time goes on. So around the 6-hour mark, I started getting cakey around my brows, around my mouth. Second of all, I feel like at the same time that I get cakey, I can also start to see like all my dry patches through the foundation. And third of all, I don't feel like this is as blurring as many other foundations that I own. It's an okay foundation, I just don't like it as much as many other products that I own. For example, the foundation that I'm wearing today, when I apply it, I feel like it smooths out my skin, and I don't even have that much texture, and I still feel like there's a smoothness to my skin when I apply other foundations. This one doesn't do that. It's not a bad thing, it's just something that I would like my foundation to do for me, and this one doesn't. So if you're looking for a cushion foundation, I don't think this is a bad one. It's just not something that I would run out and buy again. Next up is the Essence Silky Blur foundation, and this one is a very good one. It is a very natural looking blurring foundation, as the name suggests. It lasts a very long time. It's a good medium to full coverage. It's like $6, so this is close to perfection. The only thing that I would say is the fact that around the 8 to 9 hour mark, it starts wearing off right here. But it could also be the fact that I'm always like pressing my hands against my face, and that's totally fine because most foundations do that. It doesn't get dry, it doesn't get patchy, it doesn't like show any of my dry patches, doesn't get oily, very lightweight on the skin. I really like this one, so highly recommend this one from the drugstore. And lastly is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Foundation, which is the foundation that I'm wearing today. Everything that I've said about the Essence foundation, I would copy and paste for this one. Long wearing, smoothing, kind of blurring, medium to full coverage. This is a gorgeous foundation, like looks gorgeous on the skin, looks super creamy, super blurring. Like, what else can I ask for? Lasts all day, doesn't collect like in weird places, doesn't move around, and it's like $10. So these two have quickly become two of my favorite foundations from the drugstore ever. Next up we have concealers, and we have a lot of concealers and not all of them are good. So let's get to it. The first one is the Essence Concealing Correct, so not actually a concealer, but a corrector. This is a very good corrector. It's very lightweight. I feel like it does its job without disturbing anything. It's super affordable. It works well with every single concealer that I've tried it with. The problem is that I'm not as versed in correctors, so I end up reaching for it less than I probably should, but it's a good product if you're looking for a corrector. Highly recommend this one. Next up is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Concealer, and if I fell in love with the foundation, the concealer is the exact opposite. Cakey, drying, very creepy underneath the eyes, even before you set it. Yeah, it's really affordable, but there are better concealers in the same price range as this one, so not for me at all, and I feel like many people would agree with me if they tried it out, so hard no. Next up is the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. I really do think this is a good product for the right person. If you're looking for a lightweight, hydrating, serum-like concealer, this is it. It's a very, very good concealer. But in my day-to-day life, I do tend to go towards something with a little bit more coverage, and this one is just on the lighter side of it, so good for lightweight, very minimal makeup. Speaking of affordable concealers, run towards this one. This is the Essence Silky Blur Concealer, and this is everything that I wanted the e.l.f. to be. This is a medium to full coverage concealer from the drugstore that doesn't crease, doesn't look creepy, doesn't dry out my under eyes, and lasts all day. This is, I do have two shades because I couldn't find like the shade that I would actually like to, so they're like $4, so I didn't mind getting two. I actually like the fact that I have two because I can use one as a spot concealer and the other one I mix underneath my eyes, so I'm okay with the fact that I have two. I'd recommend this one. Run. The last two concealers are two different formulations, but I'm going to be talking about them in conjecture most of the time because that's how I apply them. So before we talk about formulation, we need to talk about color range, because the first time that I went in to get these concealers, I just picked up light sand on both formulations, and I didn't notice that this light sand, like the matte version and the hydrating version, do not look the same. The hydrating version's light sand is a very, very like salmony dark color for me, so I just had to went in and get a different color for the hydrating formula, and that ended up being light ivory. Just don't assume that because you're light ivory in one of the formulations you're gonna be ivory on the other one, because that's apparently not how it works. With that out of the way, we're starting off with the hydrating version. If I had to pick between the two, I would go for this one. It's a little bit more lightweight, it is more hydrating as the name would suggest, but it does have less coverage, and therefore this one comes in handy. I mix them both so that I get the lightweight aspect of this one and the hydrating aspect of the hydrating version, and the coverage from the matte one. If I apply the matte one on its own, I don't like it as much. If I use this one on its own, I'm good. It's just a little bit less coverage than I would like, so I really like to mix them both together. So these are two very good concealers. It's just individually I don't like them as much. I like them both mixed together, so maybe go for the Essence ones because it's just one concealer and it does the trick. Now we're going into powders, and we're starting off with a major hit for me. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Pressed Powder. I wear the shade Fair Warm. I wouldn't recommend you to use this underneath your eyes because it is kind of a shiny powder, but I do reach for this one a lot when I don't want to lose any glow on my skin from the hydration and the products that I applied before my foundation. This one helps me set my makeup without losing all of that glow, and it doesn't cling to any dry patches or show more texture than I want to. So if you're looking for a product to set without losing your glow, but without looking kind of disco bally, I feel like this is a very good one. The next product is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Loose Setting Powder, and this one I like a little bit less. First of all, at least me, when I see a loose setting powder, I think of a setting powder that you can apply with a puff, a setting powder that you can set your under eyes with, and that will look kind of smoothing and perfecting, and it's not it. This is more of a finishing powder. Even when I compare this one and this one, just using all over my face, I like this one better. I feel like the glow on this one is a little bit more pretty and it doesn't cling to anything, versus this one that sometimes I feel like emphasizes a little bit more of dry patches or texture. This one does a better job at it. And I also feel like this one makes you look a little bit more disco ball-y than the other one. So I'm judging it as a setting powder, and as a setting powder, I don't like it. And as a finishing powder, I would still go for this one. The packaging is also really messy. It's kind of this sort of thing. When you try to close it, the powder doesn't actually go back in. So you close the sifter, but there's a lot of products still in the packaging. It's kind of messy. It's just not my favorite. I would go for the pressed powder before this one. I just feel like it's easier and better. And the last product is the Essence Silky Blur Setting Powder. I went back and forth with this one. First of all, this color, it's the only color that I have. And second of all, it leaves a cast. So I'm thinking that if you have a darker skin tone than mine and you try and apply this one, you're going to be left with a cast, like a light, almost white cast on you, because I see it on my skin. So if I see it on my skin and I'm very pale, everyone else that's a little bit darker than me is going to see it. Also, I feel like it is blurring, but I also feel like it's drying. I would go for the Maybelline Fit Me versus this one, even though the Maybelline Fit Me is a little bit heavier. This one is a little bit more lightweight. But I feel like the Maybelline is just a better powder, so just not my favorite. Don't recommend it, really. Just try something else like the Maybelline Fit Me powder and you'll be much better off. The last product on this part of the video is going to be the e.l.f. Power Grip Doing Setting Spray, and you can see I didn't use much of it, but I did test it out just to make sure of my opinion because I don't actually feel like it does that much. For longevity and for like touching my face and my makeup not transferring, I don't feel like it did anything. My makeup lasts the same with or without this one, and also like touching my face and it not moving or not transferring. This is not a setting spray that is going to help you with that problem. The only thing that I did like is the dewiness that this gives me. But with that being said, I do have a lot more setting sprays that give me that dew and that also make my makeup last longer. So this is just a necessary product for me. So yeah, you guys, that's it for today's part of the speed reviews. And this video is super long already, so I'm going to be filming the next part right after this one. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope I'll see you in the next video. I hope you like and subscribe. Bye!